If you're looking to buy a new small car, the chances are you've already considered the Ford Fiesta and the Vauxhall Corsa. You've probably also pondered the Renault Clio, the VW Polo and the Peugeot 208. A car which you might not have considered, however, is the Suzuki Swift. And there's a good reason for this. Everybody always forgets about Suzuki. If Ford and Vauxhall are the U2 and Coldplay in the world of cars, Suzuki is an obscure indie band only about 12 people have actually heard of. The thing is though, popularity is no measure of quality. Just look at U2 and Coldplay. So the question is, what's the Swift actually like? Even though you might not have heard of the Swift, you'll recognise it instantly. That's because it's been around since 2005, and although a brand new model was released in 2010, it looks pretty much exactly like the old model. But you can forgive the styling people at Suzuki their laziness because the Swift is actually a very good looking car. A lot of small cars these days are a bit cutesy and try hard, but the Swift is simplicity itself. So, if you don't want a lot of gimmicks and fancy a small car which is just a small car, the Swift could be a good choice. There's only one engine on offer in the Swift, a 1.2 litre petrol. It's a little gutless and you'll find yourself revving it hard to get anywhere quickly. However, it does a decent enough job of hauling the Swift around, and unless you're used to driving something much more powerful, you'll have no complaints. You won't have any complaints about the Swift's handling either. Because it's one of the smaller cars in the class, it's just so fun to drive and chuckable. On the downside, the ride is quite firm and the Swift is quite noisy at speed. Not good if you're looking to rack up lots of motorway miles. The Swift isn't badly equipped, but it's not exactly cutting edge either. There are 3 models to choose from, the SZ2, the SZ3 and the SZ4. All models come with a CD player and USB, but you'll need to upgrade to an SZ3 for Bluetooth, alloy wheels and air conditioning, and the SZ4 for DAB radio, sat-nav, keyless entry and cruise control. As we said earlier, the Swift is one of the dinkiest small cars you can buy, so unsurprisingly it's not one of the most practical either. You can have it as a 3-door or a 5-door, but while headroom in the back is good, legroom isn't. The good news is that the Swift will be both cheap to buy and run. It's not exactly a budget choice like the Dacia Sandero or the MG3, but it's comfortably cheaper than its main rivals. Insurance should be cheap as the Swift is in Group 8 or 9 depending on spec, and tax won't break the bank either. There's even a new dual jet engine on offer that's cheap to tax too. On the downside, the Swift will lose more of its value than many of its rivals, which is something to bear in mind when you come to sell. It's not exactly the most exciting car in the world. In fact, it's one of the least exciting cars in the world. But the Suzuki Swift is a good alternative choice if you're looking to buy a small car and don't really care what it is. There's nothing about the Swift to recommend it really, but at the same time there's nothing about it which should put you off.